Hey everybody, this is Dan, host of the Crown and College Show, brought to you by the Cold Slither Podcast Network. Do you enjoy reading but also like to hear your books every once in a while? If so, I've got just the thing for you. Audible is an audiobook service brought to you by Amazon. So go to audibletrial.com/coldslither to get a 30-day trial plus a free book. In doing so, you help to keep our show free, which we greatly appreciate. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show.
The following is a CSPN Media podcast presentation.
Hello, and welcome to Know the Score. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by That's So Jessy. Hey, Jessy.
Hey, what's up?
I'm good. Nice to talk to you.
It's been a minute since I've been on the show.
Yes.
Life's been crazy.
You always seem to come back when we have the big topic, so I guess you're the main eventer.
Funny.
And we're also joined by none other than Tyler Ball. What's going on, Tyler?
What's happening? Folks? I'm recording live on location as I prepare for about a pool party of about 6,000 people. So I'm a little excited. It feels like Christmas morning to me. So if I'm a little animated, you just understand and bear with me.
All right. You can follow Jessy on Twitter at That's So Jessy. You can follow Tyler on Twitter at TABall1. You can also follow me on Twitter at Don Delarente and follow the show, Know the Score, at KTS Pod. You can listen to us through CSPN.us, also through SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher Radio. So the first topic on the ledger, college football kicked off last weekend. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day. As we had the big game, Alabama defeated FSU in the brand new Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta. The big news that came out of this game, of course, was the injury to FSU's quarterback, Deion Francois. He's got a patella tendon injury, and he's going to be out for the season. So, Tyler, I'll get your thoughts first. Jacob Hurts looks to be improved, threw a couple of nice deep balls. Alabama's defense looked pretty good, forced a lot of turnovers from Francois before he got injured. No Dalvin Cook this year for FSU, so they're searching around for identity at the running game. Just what were your overall takes on last Saturday?
Just the fact that Alabama's defense had some chinks in it in the first half, but because they have so much athleticism, they can do things that most teams can't. For example, putting your starters in on special teams like Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech directly led to two quick change special teams plays, including one block punt that pretty much salted away the game. You would think that Florida State would be able to make a play or two in the second half. I mean, they essentially were just one play away from making it a even ball game or even take the lead, but they never got a chance because every critical third down, Alabama turned up the pressure, and Francois, even before the injury, was having to throw through and around, it seemed like 8 people on defense. Quite honestly, Alabama's defense was more impressive to me than Michigan's, and Michigan is getting a whole lot of pub this past week in the media, but that's probably because we're used to Alabama being dominant. Really, only one negative play was seeing Alabama's all-star corner getting beat on a play where he was just out positioned. Other than that, Alabama played almost as good as you expect them to play. Offensively, Alabama always has a big play receiver. This case, it's Ridley, who is going to step into that Amari Cooper role, Julio Jones role, and be the number one guy. He actually showed that in the spring game, so that was no surprise either. Jalen Hurts tends to he's still hit or miss for me. He's just more athletic than a lot of other Alabama quarterbacks that we've seen. Then again, he's only a sophomore and he can get better. And Alabama scheduling tends to favor them towards the end of the season. So I think just improvement from Hurts makes them a very, very, very good squad. And pretty. You can pretty much pencil them in the playoff.
Okay. Jesse, do you want to throw any counterpoints to anything that Tyler had to say about Alabama? Do you think that they may be vulnerable this year? You're still on mute, Jesse.
Sorry, let me try that again. 1 second. Okay, let me try that again. So I don't really have any counterpoints towards Alabama per se. I remember watching, it was very defensive, it was a very tight run ship. And as Tyler said, I think Alabama are the ones that I pencil in them in the championship. But in regards to Florida State, I want to bring up kind of the deal of DeAndre Francois' injury. They've been building and working to have Francois play, the starting quarterback. And I mean, I'm sure they'll replace the next man up with all that, but it's kind of sucks that happened to him.
Yeah, because the big emphasis this year was on him not taking the big hits this year because, he took so many towards the end of the season. And luckily he got up every time last year, but just unfortunate, like you said, this year it just happened and he won't be able to play again. So on to another exciting game in college football. It was Sunday night as the UCLA Bruins came back to defeat the Texas A&M Aggies, the biggest comeback ever in college football. At one point, they were down 34 points. It was an amazing, Josh Rosen going back to the days of Dan Marino with the fake spike to get the game-winning touchdown. So, did you guys watch this game live? Did you see these things unfolding? And the momentum shifts as it looked like, Texas A&M was just going to get, business as usual. They were the favorite in the game, but, Josh Rosen just turned it on. So, Jesse?
I've seen plenty of college games capitulate. I've never seen anything like that happen. Yeah, that's really all I got. And I wasn't able to watch it live. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but, it's kind of, that's crazy even for college football standards that turns capitulation to be down as many points. Even Atlanta was looking at them like, damn, what happened here?
Yeah, it was definitely, usually BC games that end up 45-44, but they're usually, touchdown for touchdown. They're not one team getting out to a huge margin and then another team having to scrap back to tie it and then eventually take the lead. Tyler, Kevin Sumlin, he was already on the hot seat coming in. The edict was he had to win, and he had to win big. He's playing in the toughest, conference in college football. Is this basically his swan song right here?
The seat went from hot to a very, very hard boil after last night, even to the point where his family is receiving threats from the community. From the community, someone sent a letter to his house, similar to "Remember the Titans." That's kind of that's a whole nother conversation. But sticking to the football field, now he knows what he's up against. He now knows that how hot the seat is, and how people feel that they've spent all this money totally renovating Kyle Field, renovating the facilities, and they want a return on their investment. Of course, that's not to justify the poor behavior, the poor public behavior of not only the Board of Regents, who made a post on Facebook about not renewing someone's contract, but in addition to the letter that some crazed fan wrote in and mailed it to Sumlin's house. So I think that it's another day in college football, unfortunately. But for who is a black coach in the SEC, the microscope tends to get bigger and bigger with every loss, every poor decision. It's unfortunate because he's done a lot for Texas A&M football in his time. But in a results-driven league, it's all about results. And right now, something like what happened on Sunday night just can't happen. Albeit it wasn't Josh Rosen's great play, that the defensive backs had so many opportunities. They dropped 2 interceptions outright, and then the go-ahead touchdown was off a defender's hands. It was incredible. It was an incredible collapse. It was stunning, to say the least. But I feel for the man, and nobody should go through what being tested as a man. College football is crazy, but no one deserves that.
Right. Was our man calling that game, Gus Johnson?
I'm not sure who was on the call.
But that sounds like a Gus Johnson game.
It does. It's a Gus. It does sound like the perfect Gus Johnson.
I know it was on Fox, and I know he's their number one gun on Fox for college sports. But that just sounds like a game that he would show up at and just go crazy at the end. So, put UCLA back on the map. Got people talking about them. Josh Rosen had kind of been in the spotlight during the summertime. We talked about his outspokenness, and it kind of died down. But at least now, people can understand that. Yeah, he got the game to go with the big mouth, big shot attitude too. So, one time for him. And next we go to what was rendered as the biggest upset in college football history, as Howard University defeated UNLV. They basically, came, saw, and conquered. They got the $700,000, and they got the win to go with it. So, big time tip of the cap to, black college football. Definitely the talk of, everything that's been going on around the, quote unquote, HBCU ranks of college football. So, Tyler, we'll let you jump in. Notice you're real close to this. And just talk about, if you would have had $1. Just think if you would have had $1 on this, Tyler. How your life would be different.
$1 would have gotten you $5,500 just on that one game alone.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the craziest situations in HBCU football, because number one, you're dealing with a 3-star athlete whose father told him that university. Newton only got 4 scholarship offers, and 2 of them were in the MEAC. Apparently, people saying, why is this game? And the first question after the win and in the media discussion this week was, why did he only get to 4 considerably small schools? And is that he's 5'10", 175 soaking wet. So what's interesting enough is Cecil Newton committed his son to Howard University before Howard hired their head coach in Mike London. Mike London is a guy seeking redemption. He was ran off at University of Virginia after a very mediocre coaching job there, and he also had some personal issues while he stayed in the Virginia area. And this is really his second chance. And to London's credit, he totally junked everything that Howard had done before and has switched from Howard's traditional pro set offense to a option, a triple option, almost a veer. It's a throwback, and we'll be talking about throwback college offenses in a second when we get to the pro game. But Newton looked like he was the fastest guy on the field. Ended up accounting for well over 300 yards, 190 on the ground, another 140 plus in the air. Whether or not Howard is going to make the leap to being one of the top teams in the MEAC remains to be seen. They have an uber-friendly schedule this year, getting all the big teams at home and not having to play North Carolina A&T. So I got a feeling that as long as Newton stays healthy, that's a big deal when you're running the option offense. You're going to take a lot of hits. So I'm looking forward to see what they do and what other surprises they pull in the league, because the conference is full of experienced signal callers and a lot of great defenders. Several will be playing on Sundays. So great.
Yeah, it was definitely
fun. I'm going to be following it for the rest of the season.
Jessy, any buzz around the area, as they say, over the big win?
Oh yeah, people are really hyped, especially, you have Mike London who, like Tyler said, left Virginia, leading the charge at Howard. And as we all know, Howard is not exactly a football school. One of the worst records, I believe, the FCS or FCS. Yeah, one of the worst records, in the past, I want to say 3 years. So
yes.
There's a lot of
3 years. They've won, I think, 5 games.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people getting, just shocking the world. And not okay. Let me back that up. There's a lot of people who are excited to see what could happen with a really good, experienced coach and with a freshman quarterback who can only get better. So fun times at Howard. Fun times in DC too.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about your Terps pulling off the other big upset of the weekend, going into Texas and running them out of their own stadium, winning 51-41.
I never thought I'd be able to say Maryland beat Texas in a football game in all of my years of life because, sure, the last time we had great football success was like 2001 when Ralph Region was still in town, playing Florida in the Orange Bowl. But that was it's fun. College football is so much fun because there is no defense. And, with all that's happened in the last 2 years, DJ Durkin's now in the second year, who had a really great recruiting class coming in this year. They can only go up. I mean, I'm not going to say, we're going to compete with the big guys in the Big Ten, but, I'm definitely ready to see some upsets and some damn good football at least. And maybe we'll get back to those days one day. So I'm excited for the alma mater.
All right. Another exciting game we'll just kind of give a little bit of time to was Tennessee and Georgia Tech. They went into an overtime situation, double overtime actually, and Tennessee comes from behind, gets the win. Bush Jones, another coach that's kind of got the temperature, turned up underneath him, figured out a way to, pull one out. It didn't look good. Georgia Tech was running their offense, and their quarterback Mitchell was also connecting on some deep passes. But in the fourth quarter, as Tyler alluded to, when you run the option offense heavily, Tennessee started, getting some good hits on him, and Mitchell wasn't getting up as fast, and actually had to miss a series or two. And of course, Tennessee's defense capitalized, and then their offense, scored touchdowns, and they made the comeback, got into overtime and won because Georgia Tech went for two. That was, very brave of them, and Tennessee stopped them. So, did you get a chance to see this game on Labor Day night?
I did, and I thought I was going to be like, oh, well, it's another year when everyone's telling me that Tennessee is going to be a great football team. Let's turn this off. I'll wake up, I'll listen to my podcast next morning. I heard this game goes to overtime, and that Tennessee wins the football game. So, yeah, lots of triple option. They've been playing the triple option since, I want to say the beginning of time, but it's really predictable Georgia Tech football that we've all been seeing. Tennessee. Whoops.
Tech got the Tech was actually a passing school until Paul Johnson got there. Legend in the FCS because he ran the program at Georgia Southern. Just a powerhouse that was right there with Youngstown State and Marshall, and they ran the triple option essentially to perfection. And he brought it along to Georgia Tech. Actually, his old quarterback Tracy Ham also won a couple of national titles at Georgia Southern. So it's been a 15-year philosophy change, but Tech's history has been, they tend to have some great quarterbacks, but the odd part is they always manage to get a big 6'4", 6'5" receiving threat to go down there and play for them. And you look at the last two pros that they've had, and Calvin Johnson was the greatest to ever do it, and Darnarian McCants for the Broncos isn't bad either. That's just an oddity that I always watch for Georgia Tech is at the receiver position, and they have to block too.
Yeah, their receivers do become real well-rounded guys because they don't get a lot of passes. They just have to make the most of their opportunities, and they tend to do that. So just a reminder, this is Know the Score. We can be found on CSPN.us. You can follow us on Twitter at KTSPod. So we're going to move to our second topic. NFL kicked off. The Patriots hung their banner Thursday night. They had the Kansas City Chiefs in town. Of course, we got all the pageantry. We got to see all 5 Super Bowl trophies. Even Julian Edelman limped out there on his bad knee to hold one up. Robert Kraft, I think he had the new Jordans the retros that are going to be released in February. I think he was wearing
which retros did he wear? I didn't catch the pregame.
Yeah, they look like
he unveiled the Stars and Stripes series of Jordans. I think they're the Jordan 30s. The Jordan 31s. They came out with a Stars and Stripes edition. And, of Kraft, for all of his oddities, is a serious, and I mean a serious sneakerhead. Dude has a shrine of personal edition sneakers from Jordans to John Bovatos and all. He's a serious shoe head. Those particular shoes will be sold and auctioned off for charity, usually to the I forgot which one it is. I think it's going to be Armed Forces related charity for these pair, but has taken advantage of his relationships with sneaker companies and does a lot of good for their local communities.
I wonder who's a bigger sneakerhead, him or Jerry Jones? Because Jerry Jones can rock some
Kraft easily.
Okay.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah. Now I'm thinking back. I'm like, okay. Anywho,
the game
Jerry's a gunman.
Okay. We're anti-violence here on CSPN.US.
Of course.
The game was played, and a strange thing happened. The Kansas City Chiefs blew the doors off the New England Patriots in front of their home fans, 42-27. Fantastic second half. The Chiefs outscored the Patriots 28-10. The Patriots defense was helpless. The Chiefs were doing anything that they wanted. 42 points, of course, the most ever scored on the Belichick coach team while he was in New England. We'll talk about Kareem Hunt right here. We'll start with Tyler, a young man who basically thought he was going to be the backup, spot duty type guy. Injuries happen, next man up, first NFL game, first carry, and disaster happens. He fumbles after like a 9-yard game.
He fumbles,
people lose that.
And that was probably the only negative play he had. Every time he touched the ball, he was moving forward. He was carrying guys with him. And of course, when you have that ability and that speed, Andy Reid's going to put you in a place where you can take advantage of ups. So they line him up in the slot in the second half. They've been running crossing patterns all game long. He gets a matchup against the new Patriots blitzing linebacker Jamie Marsh. Marsh can't keep up with him. Perfect pass later, Hunt takes it to the house. 75 yards. Tremendous play. Actually, it just about salted the game away. Typical Chiefs. They get you in one-on-one matchups, and their outside guys flat out run your guys, and them at the line of scrimmage, long night, because you will be chasing them. And, of course, Tyreek Hill got loose on a long touchdown pass where it was supposed to be in two deep zone coverage, and $2 million DB Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore.
Showing your age with that Crockett Gilmore almost.
I really did. He was supposed to step back and have the deep portion, but he pulled up short. Tariq kept going, and all of a sudden it's another big play. The shocking part is that Alex Smith actually got the ball to him, and Smith was able to take some chances, albeit let's not forget that through the first quarter, stymied, and it took a stop on fourth down to prevent the game from getting out of hand. It was almost, to be honest with you, it should have been 14-0 after two possessions, but gutsy called by Belichick to go for it on fourth down, and Eric Berry, who probably makes the play of the game by stopping the Patriots. And sadly enough, that's probably going to be his only big play because he will be out for the season after injuring his knee. He has a ACL tear. So that's a really sad for the Patriots. A really, really big loss. For the Chiefs, it's a really big loss because Barry is essentially the heart and soul of that defense. Even though he's a veteran and a major source of inspiration, of course. Going away from that, Tom Brady was awful.
Yeah, Jessy.
He missed 20 passes, and they were all over the place. They were high, they were wide, some were short. Just terrible passes.
Yeah, Jessy, have you ever? I know you're a Baltimore fan. Baltimore does make Tom Brady kind of look average. They have had a track record of playing, Tom Brady pretty well. Bob Sutton, the defensive coordinator of Kansas City, is actually now getting that reputation as being able to kind of play Tom Brady to a level of, you can hold him under 30. That's kind of a good job. 27 points. You can work with that, coming into the game. So, is it that just a magic time that Tom Brady's finally gotten old before our eyes, or is it just, no Edelman, Amendola got hurt during the game. Malcolm Mitchell was now on IR. He just didn't have any chemistry with any of the guys that he was working with. Gronk, he dropped a touchdown in the end zone. He missed them high a couple of times. What do you think? Is it just, he fell off a cliff, or just, he's got to get some chemistry with his new receivers?
I don't think it's so much of dropping off of a cliff, because if that is dropping off a cliff, let's not forget the last time. Not in the playoffs, but the last time the Patriots and the Chiefs played each other in the regular season game, we also thought that Tom Brady dropped off a cliff and that he was done for. And then they just happened to go on to Cincinnati and go on to win the Super Bowl. I'm trying to remember if that was that season.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. They did win the Super Bowl. They beat Seattle.
Yeah, so I think it's just Bob Sutton employing the same tactics that, teams like the Baltimore Ravens have employed on the past with Tom Brady, and just, rushing him onto the quarterback and just giving Tom Brady no options to throw it to anyone. So sure, they're going to retool and they're going to, go on and have a pretty damn good season like they will, but it's a blueprint that teams can and have used to beat the Patriots. So.
Some stats. Just Kareem Hunt, had 238 yards from scrimmage, most for a rookie in his first game ever in the NFL, of course. Alex Smith, 368 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 of those over 50 yards. As we stated in our NFC West preview, Kansas City wanted to be a more vertical passing team this year. So far, so good. So let's talk about the way that Andy Reid deployed his offense. We've been saying nobody wants to run a college-style offense. Well, Tyler, I think we saw a whole bunch of college-style offense. We saw some speed option. We saw some, triple option. We saw some wildcat. We saw some pistol. We saw some diamond. We saw some just, all kinds of variations of formations. Something that was maybe caught the Patriots off guard. They weren't expecting so much. I guess we'll call this an exotic look from the Chiefs. I know you've been a big proponent of somebody being able to implement this into the NFL to help young quarterbacks out. But if we go back and think, Alex Smith is the original OG of the read option quarterbacks. He's the first quarterback that Urban Meyer had when he started getting into, the talk about being an elite coach in college football when he was at Bowling Green. So just talk to kind of how Andy Reid is progressing maybe football in a way that Chip Kelly failed to when we thought that Chip Kelly was going to be the mastermind behind the quote-unquote college-style offense.
The difference between Chip Kelly and what Andy Reid's doing is that the talent necessarily didn't fit what Kelly wanted to do. Kelly has good concepts and good ideas, able to have the pieces that fit. And Andy Reid has decided to not only go with one philosophy, he's sticking to it, and it works. Go ahead and take the fast guy. Go ahead and, not necessarily get the 6'5", or the 6'3", the big target out, or, you may have your one big target, which he does at Travis Kelce, but at the same time, focus on team speed, focus on getting in space, because teams are going to have 3 or 4 linebackers on the field, because 2 of them are going to be in coverage, or if they bring all 3 and they're bringing 7, you've got a few seconds, and if you get the ball out with your fast guys, you got a big play. Concept is all there. It's just a matter of executing it and hitting 1 or 2 of those big plays. Kansas City hit 3, and they went going away. So it's great to see. To be honest, this was what Andy Reid was trying to do in Philadelphia with, and here
Michael
we go.
Vick as well.
Michael Vick is now the assistant coach. You might, even though he's not running, he's seeing things that Andy Reid is trying to do, and he's seeing the mismatches. So maybe Vic can have some influence on Alex Smith and make him a better quarterback. Who knows? But the pressure's going to be on for them to score more because now you got questions in the secondary.
Right.
With no Eric Berry, teams are going to be trying to go over the top. Terrence held his own last night, even though he got flagged a bunch of times. He still held his own and got beat deep only once. He did account for some penalties, and he's going to have to clean that up. But if you're not going to be able to beat them on the outside, and if your tight end can't get deep, Kansas City can hold you under 30 points.
Oh yeah, the pass rush. Once they established a working margin, they unleashed Justin Houston, and the front four got more aggressive, and they really gave Tom Brady a lot of problems. Of course, Tom Brady, just like every other quarterback, very mortal when he starts to feel pressure, and you do get pressure, and you do start putting him on the ground. They got 3 sacks on Tom Brady, all in the second half. So very impressive. Very impressive effort by the Kansas City Chiefs. Jessy, is there anything else that you'd like to add on just this primetime game? Pettiness of any sort? The memes were pretty good that came out, especially Tom Brady being angry.
The Angels signed when the Patriots lost. That's all I got.
Yeah, there's a lot of that was a big result on social media. It's always fun to see the Patriots lose. What's also fun is shopping on Amazon. You can do that through CSPN.us, and you can also help keep all the podcasts that we have here free. Just go on our website, visit CSPN.us while you're listening to all your favorite shows, and at the same time, click on the banner that says keep the podcast free, and then click on Amazon.com. Do your shopping, whether it's for a Halloween costume, early Christmas shopping, birthdays, or just the best deal that you can find on something that you've been waiting to spend your money on. And you can help also keep all of our podcasts free here at CSPN.us by having some of your purchase come back to the network, and everybody can continue to listen to us free of charge. So please, CSPN.us and Amazon.com, do it today. Now, of course, we're going to get into the NFL Week 1 preview as the NFL full slate of games kicks off, minus the Florida Bowl between Tampa Bay and Miami. Thoughts out, prayers out to everybody down in South Florida, Miami, the Keys, Fort Myers, Jacksonville, Orlando. Looks like all those places are going to, receive a lot of this damage. Daytona. So, all of our listeners and people with family down there, thoughts and prayers to Georgia, Atlanta as the storm moves through. So, the best, games on the slate besides the ones that we care about are 2. So we're going to talk about the Raiders and the Titans. First off, Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota coming back from similar injuries as both quarterbacks had lower broken legs at the end of the season last year. Raiders are looking to, move up into the upper echelon. Looking against a team maybe that could compete with the Patriots as to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this year. Titans are a team that a lot of people are picking to win the division because the AFC South has a lot of quarterback issues, and they seem to have the most stable quarterback, and everything is trending up towards the Titans. So Jessy, let me get you in here first. Who do you think win this game? Who do you like going forward as far as, just predictions in the season, as we didn't really get to hear much from you to talk about NFL during our previews. So, just talk about the Raiders and the Titans, what you expect out of the game, and maybe for both teams going forward in the season.
Something tells me I'm going to put, I'm going to pick the Titans, not the Titans, sorry. I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this. The AFC South, in regards to the Titans winning that division, it's so, there's a lot going on there, but not a lot of great, there's not a whole lot of separation between, the Texans with, they have are they going the rookie quarterback, Deshaun Watson?
They're going to start off with Savage, and then they're going to see how it goes.
So they're going to go to Deshaun Jackson, and they're going to go to Deshaun Watson eventually in the season. Is that what you're telling me?
If Savage doesn't play good, yeah, then. But who knows? You never know.
Okay. Then we have in Indy, we have no Andrew Luck, so they're going with their backup quarterback, which is Tolzien.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we have in Jacksonville, Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
And in Tennessee, you have Mariota. Okay, it's just. Like I said, not a whole lot of separation between the AFC South, but yeah, the Titans could win that division, but I'm still going to pick the Raiders to win the game because the pieces they have, especially on offense, and then their defense is just better than the Titans in my mind.
Do you think the Raiders have a chance to dethrone the Patriots this year and represent them AFC in the Super Bowl?
Oh no, not on that level. I mean, they'll be good,
Okay.
but I don't think they're gonna oh yeah, they're gonna be the ones to take them down. Maybe they could, but I'm not seeing it.
Okay. Tyler, we're going to talk to you about the Seahawks and the Packers. That'll be a late game, NFC showdown, maybe a preview of the NFC, divisional round games. They have played some epic games before. Seahawks, went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago by defeating the Packers in the NFC Championship game. Miraculous comeback in the last seconds by Russell Wilson. Of course, they had the infamous Monday Night Football game. Was it a touchdown? No, it wasn't a touchdown. When they had to strike referees, that actually caused the real refs to come back. So there's a lot of history here. Aaron Rodgers, undoubtedly, the best quarterback in the league, probably going up against the best secondary in the league. No doubt the best secondary in the league when Earl Thomas is healthy, which he is. Cam Chancellor back there roaming. This has a lot of, individual matchups. It should be a lot of fun. Just talk about who do you expect to win and, what do you see, as far as going forward in the season for these two teams?
I tend to go with the team that doesn't have to be one-dimensional. It's Seattle. Even though they have a running back by committee, that's still a better situation than what the Packers have, which, they're still aligning Montgomery as their running back. So I'm not sure if they're going to even fool anybody, and just instead of going with with trying to run him between the tackles, just maybe use him in the short passing game, and then maybe give it to the fullback at short yardage. But other than that, I am really, really not sure if you're going to tell the Seattle Seahawks that we're going to throw the ball down the field and we're going to dare you to make a play. Plus Seattle has Earl Thomas back. So, there's also a pass rush there now with Sheldon Richardson. So I would favor Seattle just because I believe that Seattle still can score on offense. If they go back to Jimmy Graham, and don't forget that he's on the field and he's probably the biggest mismatch you have, then there's no reason why they should be able to outscore Green Bay. Say something like 31-20 or 31-24, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's as owner of Aaron Rodgers and fantasy football in our CSPN league. This is a very tough game for me to decide who I want to start at quarterback because, Aaron Rodgers all the points could come from his arm, but, Seattle's defense is so good. So this is kind of iffy. So we're going to talk about the games that matter to us, meaning the ones of us that are hosting this show. And we're going to start with Jesse's team, the Baltimore Ravens, as they're going to be playing the Cincinnati Bengals division game, first game right off the bat. Jesse, how you feeling? Are you feeling confident? And Brian Mallett out there, or is Joe Flacco back? Is he going to be there for the first game? Terrence West, potential, breakout running back this year. How do you feel about Baltimore versus Cincinnati?
Gosh, okay. So they're gonna try out Joe Flacco with the trick bag. That's for sure. I'm gonna hope this game, is very run heavy, just because Flacco's throwing game is not something that has led us. I mean, not since the 2013 Super Bowl season, 2012, 2013. Yeah, that season. But I'm gonna have. I think the way we could win this game is just to leave it on the ground instead of trying to air it out. Defense, for once, I'm not as concerned about the safety position, but I'm pretty sure that AJ Green is still going to put up yards against us. Can I confidently say they will win? No, but I don't think Cincinnati is looking like hot stuff either. So it'll be. I think it'll be a close one, but it's not. I don't think the defenses will roll the day. So.
Okay, Tyler, you got any thoughts on Ravens and Bengals?
I think you just throw the ball to AJ Green, let him have his way against Baltimore's defense, but you need to try not to try to throw 60 yarders, but you need to throw just 15 to 20 yarders and stretch their defense out and not focus on trying to put your quarterback on the ground. Give them something to think about. Use your backs. You got a decent stable. You got hopefully you get a healthy Gio Bernard back. You get after a lackluster season, you get Hill back, and you run those guys, and now you got a new threat in Joe Mixon. Mixon he's a dual threat type runner. He can catch. He can also do some things if you line him up between the tackles and let him go at it. So who's going to be the every down back? I think Cincinnati should settle in and mix in some play action and keep Baltimore's defense on its toes. The only way Baltimore can win this would be if they force some Andy Dalton mistakes and capitalize on the shorter fields, because I just can't see them having to go long drives and beating the Bengals, who still are a solid defense.
We'll transition to my favorite team, the Washington football team, versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming in, the Washington football team, 5 in a row versus the Eagles. Kirk Cousins, personally, 4 in a row. Things working against us. Jay Gruden, 0-3, home openers as Redskins coach or Washington football team coach. New receiving core, no longer with Pierre Garçon or Deshaun Jackson. Now we're stepping in with, hopefully, Doxson and Terrell Pryor. Eagles defense really scares me because they're fast and they got a quick defensive line. Really gives Washington football team offensive line a lot of trouble when it comes to pass protection. Our biggest advantage in this game would be to run the ball, just like last year in the second game, where Chris Thompson basically took over the game, got 2 long touchdown runs. Robert Kelly, had a nice couple, touchdown run and like 90 yards. So that would probably be my key to the game. If the Washington football team can get 90 yards rushing or around there and have the attempts, Jay Gruden is known to abandon the running game for the passing game when things don't work early. But I think in this game, he will be best advised to just kind of stick with it, even if it's not working early. Help Kirk Cousins get some play action passes and see if Terrell Pryor can get down the field and Jordan Reid can work the middle of the field and they can get some big passing plays. That's kind of be my big thing. Just can they hold on to the ball on offense and defense? Can we get the quarterback on the ground and get off the field on third down? Looking to see our linebackers make a lot of plays, a lot of tackles, especially Zach Brown, new addition in the middle with Mason Foster, kind of changing up our middle linebacking crew. See if Junior Gillette can provide some third down pressure, and the big guy, Jonathan Allen, see if he can provide some pressure from the defensive line. That will help a lot to see if we can get Carson Wentz and these guys off the field. So, Tyler, I know you're a fellow NFC East follower, so what do you think about this game outside looking in?
You're right. The Eagles actually got better on defense in the offseason, getting a heck of a trade to upgrade their secondary with the Rams. So it's one of the sneakiest things of improvement in the NFC East is the Eagles secondary. I think they're going to be much better than advertised. I still have pause when I think about the Eagles and their offense, because they're coming off a year where they had worst receiving core in the league. Now, they did attest that with an upgrade, Jordan Matthews, which made Nelson Aguilar the guy, along with the new number 1 is Alshon Jeffrey. Jeffrey has fared well as a number 2, and now he's going to be the big target. The question is, will Nelson Aguilar flourish when he gets his one-on-one matchups? Because he is a borderline bust as of right now. So that being said, Carson Wentz now has 2 targets. I hope that he will continue to improve, as I personally have to root for him, because he is an FCS guy. Even though he came from the best FCS team to play over the past 10 years, plays well. That gives teams, that gives scouts other directions to look as far as quarterbacks. And I think the NFL needs all the talent it could possibly get at the position. And some of his talent isn't necessarily at the BCS level. That being said, tight end that I like. I wish that tight end was a few miles southeast in Dallas, but he has 3 guys to throw to. Philly's got to get better on the offensive line so they can run the football. But I personally believe this game will be won by the first team who scores 3 touchdowns. Both teams will struggle to score against each other, and I think that whoever, obviously the turnover battle is going to figure out because this game's going to be close. So whoever can force turnovers will likely win, but I'm going to consider the Eagles 21-20.
All right. Jessy, any thoughts on the Washington football team in Philadelphia before we move on?
I'm going to also go with Philly just because the Washington football team looks a mess. You have a quarterback who is but also makes really stupid decisions on the play and sometimes can't check down the ball. Philadelphia's defense got better, and I guess another year out of Carson Wentz, if that matters for anything. So, yeah, I'll take Philly and win that game.
We'll see. Now we're going to move on to the prime time matchup on Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys, represented here by Tyler Ball, versus the New York Football Giants. Last year, this was a great opening night game. New York Giants, with the aid of a little bit of mismanagement of the clock by the Cowboys, snuck out the win. Tyler, Ezekiel Elliott looks like not only he's going to be playing this game, but now he has been fouled at restraining order and an injunction, and it looks like he might get the whole season now as the NFL continues to bungle his suspension and how they're handling his domestic violence case. So keeping it to football, how do you feel about your chances now that it looks like Odell Beckham may be 50-50, but I'm pretty sure by the time 8:30 rolls around, he'll be 90-10. If he's going to play or not. Your thoughts on your opening first week game with the Giants?
Well, let's not be so hasty here. Even with Zeke healthy, the Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys twice last season because they shut down Elliott. Elliott didn't get on the edge. He didn't get in space. He couldn't break tackles. And one thing that's very underrated about the Giants, very, very well. So Zeke wasn't able to get outside and use his speed on people. So I have trepidations when you're dealing with Eli Manning and you're dealing with the receiving core that's gotten better, and you have a Dallas Cowboy team that does not generate a good pass rush, and their top 2 pass rushers will not play, either due to injury or suspension. Eli is going to actually have more time than not to throw the football. And usually when he has time, he does above average work. When he's under pressure, though, he's terrible. Even with Zeke back and the confidence boost that the Cowboys get is who is going to take Cole Beasley in the slot. That slot matchup is going to determine the winner of this game simply because if Dak Prescott does not take any chances deep, and he's still having tunnel vision, looking for his old reliable guy, being either the tight end or Cole Beasley, and that guy is blanketed, he's going to hold. Dak is going to hold on to the ball, and he's going to be sacked. So this is great offensive line. They proved that cover sacks can happen. Dez was unable to get open in either contest against the Giants corners. So if you give or take, the Dallas offense has looked good all preseason long. However, they haven't seen the first unit hasn't seen a pass rush as good as the Giants. So give or take the first game jitters, and the fact that Eli Manning plays very, very well in Texas Stadium, Jerry World. I'm going to pick the Giants. Giants 31, Cowboys 28. They win in the fourth quarter.
All right. Very similar to last year's game. Jessy, Your thoughts. Cowboys, New York Giants. Jess, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Giants in this game as well, just because. Why am I going with the Giants? I mean, my gut says to go with the Giants. That's all I got. I don't have any deep down analysis for this game, but my gut says Giants, so I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, they've had a very good, as Tyler was saying, they've had a very good track record, especially in Texas here lately with Eli. This has been the opening night game. I think the last, no, 2 years in a row, but I think three, and I think the Giants have won the last two. So,
4 out of the past 6 years, and Giants have won 3.
yeah, it's very leaning towards the Giants very heavily. The trend is anyway. Like Tyler was saying, the Giants' defensive line is very good. Their secondary, especially now with Landon Collins, turning into one of the better defensive safeties in the league. He can catch the ball when it's thrown to him. He can return it for a touchdown. He's making a lot of tackles. They've got Janoris Jenkins on the outside, locking up your best receiver. So they're going to be very formidable on defense. I don't think they're going to allow a lot of points unless you can somehow run on them, because their linebackers may be their weakness right now on defense. As far as the Cowboys go, like Tyler was saying, it's all about Dak. Can he become this down the field passing threat where he does catch more of the big plays that are there for him, that are singled up for him through Zeke running the ball and the matchup problems that he causes by being able to catch the ball out of the backfield, and Coles Beasley and Witten. So just I think all season, just kind of how many 20-yard, 30-yard pass plays Dak Prescott gets in the course of the season will tell a lot about his progression. And if the Cowboys do have a very serious chance at challenging to be the representative of the NFC for the Super Bowl this year, if he improves a lot, or they scheme him up where he can make a lot more impact plays by throwing the ball, Cowboys are going to be very dangerous, because even if something does happen to Zeke where he does get suspended, or, things don't work out as far as, his head's not right or whatever, he's struggling a little bit. Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden had really impressive preseasons, and they didn't show a lot of drop-offs. So, it's going to be a very intriguing game. I think the Cowboys are going to actually find a way to win this game. They've been dealing with a lot as far as off the field goes this summer, and I think they're just ready to see somebody else to finally unleash all this pent up frustration. Jerry's going to really want this one. National TV, kind of stick it to the league after kind of what they did to him with the Zeke thing. So I'm going to go to reverse of what Tyler said. I'm going to say the Cowboys are going to be the ones with 31, and the Giants are going to have 28. So those are our thoughts on the just, big games weekend, opening weekend of the NFL. Good luck to everybody this season. Hopefully nobody gets injured. Week one, major injuries, out for the season type injuries. That's already happened in Kansas City with Eric Berry. Tyreek Hill also came up lame. Haven't heard anything about what that was. Hopefully it was just maybe a calf strain or something like that. They've got 10 days off, so they may be able to get him back on the field. Dante Hightower, another person who got injured for the Patriots, MCL sprain. They said maybe because they've got 10 days off, he may be able to go next week. So lucky for him, he didn't, suffer anything more serious than that. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to Jessy for her final thoughts.
Sure. First of all, my thoughts to those in Florida who are battering down and getting prepared for Hurricane Irma as it strikes. As for sports-related goings on, I think it's going to be sad to say this, but Maryland might be the only team that I support who won't disappoint me this year. So this is a new one for me. I don't really have anything deep or introspective to add here, but I just had that thought and I wanted to let that out.
Blessings come in all shapes and forms, Jessy.
I don't know about that right now, but hey, good times.
Tyler, your final thought?
I just want to give attention and thought to the folks that are in Houston, Miami, the Caribbean islands, and all those families that lives have been completely changed by the aftermath of these back-to-back hurricanes that have affected communities. My family has been affected by hurricanes before, and that that's a life-changing experience. My thoughts and prayers are with them all. If you want to contribute, donate wherever you can. Just do what you can, and be there for the people that you're in contact with. Check on your folks. Sports wise, give a shout out to our producer, co-founder, Classic. He wanted me to mention this. I was able to talk with Stephen Gaither, who is the head of HBCU Game Day. The CIAA, or the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, a Division II league that is historically HBCU centric. They do have one. They will have one institution, Catawba, that is predominantly white. However, the athletic directors have agreed to cancel the visitors portion of the halftime, quote unquote, battle of the bands to speak, as the NCAA has put in stricter guidelines for halftime. This is unfortunate. Being an HBCU football fan, the HBCU bands provide a unique experience and they're a very important form of entertainment to HBCU football games. Fans look to see if their alma mater's band brought it against the visiting team's bands when they showed up. To not have the visiting band play is a travesty. You're robbing the experience of the paying public for people who came to see the bands. Even though some visitors' bands are worth the price of your attendance. I know it's a football game, but that experience, which is very unique to HBCUs, is exactly why the games are considered as special as they are. For those kids, going on the road and being at your best to show against the home team's band is almost like competing as an athlete yourself. You train hard, you put in the countless amounts of hours to being a better instrumentalist, and you want to perform. Taking away that opportunity to perform it's robbery, and it's very unfortunate because you want to put a time limit on entertainment. I believe it's wrong, and I believe that you're taking away from the HBCU experience, which is one of the most unique experiences in all of college football.
All right. My final thought will be give a shout out to Venus Williams and Sloane Stephens, as they had an epic semifinal match at the U.S. Open on Thursday night, taking probably a lot of the audience away from the football games. Football ratings were down. This match was definitely going on in the first half when the football game was first starting. Sloane won in 3 sets. Of course, the final set was 7-5. The fifth set was definitely a battle of wills. Venus was a little shaky in the first set. She seemed to find her legs and calm her nerves in the second. And then the third, was just a dogfight. And Sloane with maybe the little younger legs and, just kind of won the war of attrition. But definitely give a tip of the cap to Venus. Definitely a good effort. And, she was definitely the sentimental favorite to win this match. Everybody was pulling hard for her at the court and on social media. So, just going to be first time women are going to be in the finals, and it not be Serena or Venus at the U.S. Open since Lindsay Davenport, I think. So just kind of speaks another, tip of the cap to the Williams sisters and just their dominance overall. So good luck to Sloane. I think she's playing Keys, I think it is, Tyler, right?
Yeah, it's Madison Keys versus
Madison
Sloane
Keys.
Stephens.
Yeah, that's the final, and that is so. Good luck to both of those young ladies. Kind of new faces in tennis. It's always fun. When you kind of maybe not a changing of the guard. Just Serena wasn't able to compete, so maybe they're just borrowing the crown for this year. I guess we'll say. So good luck to them. And for Jessy at That's So Jessy and Tyler at TA Ball 1, I'm Don Delarente at Don Delarente, and now you know the score.
Bye, everybody.